back. Now, before we went to a commercial break, I mentioned that I was going to give you my analysis on why I'm opposed to us going into Syria, and I am opposed to Obama taking us into Syria. But it's probably not for the reason that you guys think. But the reason I am opposed to us going into Syria, it's very simple, folks. But yet, it needs to be said. And the reason why I'm opposed to us going into Syria is simply this. And it's simply one word, and I really only need one word to say it. But then I'll need to provide a description to back it up. But that word is incompetency. Incompetent. And folks, that is the reason Obama hasn't proven that he's incompetent as a military leader and as a leader in general of the United States. And it really hit me this morning. I've known it for a long time, but I was really going back and forth on Syria, and should we intervene or should we stay out of it, and why? Well, I've decided to stay out of it. And this morning, as I was, looking out at the palm trees, I have a very good view of the water here, folks. But as I was looking outside, it became increasingly apparent as to why I am deeply opposed to us going into Syria. And that's because Obama is incompetent, as I just said. Now, the liberals out there must be screaming and shouting, "What does he mean? Obama's incompetent. How could he even say that about dear leader? What does he mean? Sam Whitfield's a jackass. And he's wrong." Well, what does he mean? Well, I'll tell you what I mean. There's another term that I would love to use right now to simply describe why Obama is incompetent. And that other word is not really just a word, but it's an event. And that event is Benghazi, folks. And at the end of the day, some of you guys may think this is incredibly ridiculous. But folks, in my mind, because let's face it, Syria, there is so much happening in Syria. It's tough. It's really tough, at least for me, to keep. It's really tough for me to to make my decision based on everything that's going on in Syria. And when I mean everything, I mean everything. Because Syria in the Middle East is such a, it's such a jumble of, it's a jumbled catastrophe right now. And I don't think there's anyone out there who can deny that. But at the end of the day, for me, it's because Obama proved he was incompetent with the handling of Benghazi. Obama sent ambassadors and whatnot into Benghazi. We had ambassadors. We had a consul there. Obama knew that Benghazi was dangerous, or he should have known. Benghazi is a harboring place for terrorists. And now, we knew all of that about Benghazi. We knew that an attack could have happened. And what bothers me is, as I've said before, the troops in Benghazi asked for help at the consulate. They got nothing. They got no help whatsoever. And, some of the soldiers, the two that died, who went after their comrades, they disobeyed orders to go save their comrades. They're true Americans and true patriots. Benghazi was such a catastrophe, and there's no denying that. Even more than that, though, was the excuses that Obama made for the reasoning of the Benghazi attack. First we heard, it's a YouTube video. And they ran with that, and they locked up a man who, although he posted offensive content otherwise, I think the guy was completely innocent. And he locked him up just because he made a video making fun of Muslims. And they blamed this thing on him at first. Well, then they found out, and that was the official story, that this YouTube video was the cause of the Benghazi attack. Well, once people found out, that this was no ordinary protest, and that this was actually a staged military operation by the terrorists, then they had to throw that out the window. So then the next response was, well, the video didn't cause the Benghazi attack. And then the next response was, well, we don't know. We actually don't know what happened. We don't honestly know why the Benghazi attack happened. And, sorry, folks. Yeah, I mean, honestly, though, we got so many excuses over the Benghazi attack and what went wrong. And listen, at the end of the day, all those excuses were bull crap. The president doesn't know what caused the Benghazi attack. The CIA had no clue. No one had any clue whatsoever. That's BS. If they're that incompetent, if they can't even find out why the terrorists attack our consulate in Benghazi, then either they're covering something up or they're just that incompetent. It's either one or the other. But then the icing on the cake was when Hillary Clinton, during her congressional hearings on Benghazi and what happened, when asked about the 4 dead soldiers, I believe her response was, "What difference does it make?" And when I heard that, not only did it enrage me, but it ultimately proved to me that we either have the most incompetent administration, or this administration genuinely hates our troops. It's one or the other. They're either so incompetent and they're such idiots that they don't know how to run a military, that they don't know how to run our military efficiently, or they just don't care. Either way, the reason why I don't want us to point troops on the ground is I don't want our troops taking orders from idiots who don't even know what the hell they're doing or who are trying to cover up. And folks, some of you out there have been saying, oh, well, you can't compare the Benghazi situation to this. This is different from Benghazi. Yeah, there is a big difference between this and Benghazi. Here we did not get attacked with Syria. Syria has not yet attacked us. We have no reason to go into Syria right now. In my opinion, we have no vested interest. Benghazi, the administration didn't even want to look into what happened there. That's my point. And I think it's utterly stupid for us to put our troops under the command of these a-holes. Now I know they're already in command of the military. That's not what I'm saying. But folks, we already are in a conflict in the Middle East. We don't need to be going to Syria. Obama doesn't need to start another war. And folks, some of you may be saying, "Well, Sam, you were for Bush's war on terror. What's the difference now? This just proves that you hate Obama just because he's black." See, folks, I can already tell what my critics and what my haters on the left are going to be saying. The difference between Bush and Obama is Bush was competent when he took us into the war on terror. Now, I will say this. I think the war dragged on a little too darn long for my liking. But was it a mistake? No. But that's because Bush did thorough investigating as to why we were starting the war on terror. He didn't blame it on some YouTube video. Well, YouTube wasn't even around in 2001. So, obviously, but and that's the other thing. George Bush didn't have the internet to blame. I mean, the internet was around, but social media really did not come out until 5 years ago, folks, in general. And so, Obama making excuses, it just doesn't cut it. So, you see, folks, this thing all comes back to, Benghazi for me. Mr. President, once you start showing me some initiative with solving the Benghazi problem, and once you start taking our need for an investigation seriously, that's the other thing. The President of the United States, not only does the administration say what difference does it make, but now they're completely dismissing Benghazi and saying that, it's only the Republicans in Congress and those extreme right-wing radical political commentators on talk radio and in National Review and Rush Limbaugh and Sean Hannity and Jason Veely and Sam Whitfield and Junior Factor Nation. It's just those guys that are freaking out. No. The American people still want answers in Benghazi. Until you can provide me answers on Benghazi, I won't support you. And even then, I still might not support you because your incompetency with that situation. The mask has worn thin there, ladies and gentlemen. And I'm sick of it. Alright, coming up, we have something a little less serious, but still